Okay, again, the book on chapter 27 talks about how a tabbed menu is typically along the bottom of the screen and presents an array of tabs containing text and an optional icon that may be selected by user to display a different content view. Typical examples of a tab bar in action include iPhone's built-in music and phone application. The music application, for example, presents a tab bar with options to display different music options depending upon the selection from the tab bar. A different content view is displayed to the user. So again, when if you've ever played with the music, and then sometimes there's a search box at the bottom also. So that's kind of the idea of the tab menu. And they talked about view controller. This is multiple views. I'm jumping around here in regards to orientation controller. First controller loaded by the application. Once is I turn the page. Setting up the tab bar example. Create a new Xcode project, and we're going to use the tab application template. Do you see it there? It's called. So I went File, New. Again, File, New Project. File, New Project. File, New Project in Xcode. And a typical look is this, right? This time we're going to use the tabbed application. Do you see it in the far right corner? Tabbed application. After I choose that, I can hit next. We can give it a name. Of course, they have an example. What did they say we should call it? Next. Oh, what did it say? Single. Oh no, it said single view application. Hold on. Oh, they said you could choose the tab application, but they really want you to choose the single view. My mistake. So go back to previous. My mistake. Go back to single view and hit next. Hey, we always make mistakes. And they want you to call it tab bar. T-A-B-B. Oh, tab bar up here. Then, of course, wherever you can leave that there, you can leave that there. We're using Swift, and we're going to use the universal as the thing and hit create. Or next. And it's going to ask you where you want to save it. You can find a place. I have a folder already on my desktop. I'm saving it. If you don't have a folder on your desktop, you can make a new folder right here, new folder on your desktop, and then hit create. So they want us to, in this handout, and the way that in this chapter, when I first did this, I didn't understand it either, but they want you to delete the view controller here and start with a new one. Okay. And so, in this case, to start with an entirely clean project, select the view controller Swift file in the project navigation panel and press the delete key to remove the file from the project, choosing the option to move the file to the trash when prompted to do so. So again, this is the Navigator bar, which is over here, right here, and inside there, there should be one that says View Controller Swift. They want you to delete that by hitting the delete key on the keyboard. So if you click on the whole thing so it's blue and hit delete, it's going to ask you, and they say move to trash. No, don't worry, you're going to make a new one. You're going to make two new ones. Each, again, if you remember from the example that we did last class, we had a different Swift file for each of the screens, right? Remember that? Well, this is the same concept. We're deleting the pre-made one, and we're going to make two new ones for each of the tabs, okay, for each of the tabs. So kind of the same concept that we did last class. So let's make a new view controller. The ultimate goal of this chapter is to create a tabbed bar-based application consisting of two tabs with the corresponding views. Each of these will require a view controller. The first step, therefore, is to add a view controller for the first view. To achieve this, select File, New File, Menu option, and the resulting panel. Select Source from beneath the iOS heading and left-hand panel, and Touch Class from the list of templates. Click Next on the next screen. Name the new class with tab 1 view controller and change the subclass of the menu to UI controller. Ensure that to also create an XIB file option is switched off before clicking next. Select the desired location for the creation of the class file before clicking on create. Whoosh! That was a whole bunch. Okay, so let's let's sum it up. We go underneath File, New. Okay. Okay, and we're going to go under File, New File. Okay, File, New File. And again, we're using the Coca Touch class, this one right here, the Coca Touch class on the list. And then say Next. Inside here, we're going to name it. Okay, you're going to name it. And the name that you want to name it is going to be Tab 1 View Controller. Tab 1 View Controller. Okay, so again, this is the same concept like we did last class. You're making a different Swift file for each of the screens. This example today is going to have 2 screens, so we're going to be making 2 of these. Okay? 2 of these. Each one of the viewers have to have their own tab. Okay, make sure it says UI View Controller. That is fine right there. You don't need to click this because it's going to have one for both of them, so you don't need to create the XIB file here. And then just hit Next. It's going to ask you where you want to save it. Just put it in the same folder. That's what I did. I just put it in the same folder. It says select the desired location. I don't remember. I just put it in and make sure it just go into your folder that you created. Okay, so there's one. Let's make another one. I'm going to go under File, New, same operation. You're going to make 2 of them. File, New, File. Again, I'm using the Coca Touch class. I'm going to hit Next. Inside there, again, this is going to be Tab 2. Is there a capital T? Did I make? Oh yeah, it's capital T. The book has a capital TAB 2. So we're doing the exact same thing we did last time. We're just making the second one for the second view. And again, you can choose the same folder. Okay, so again, each one is going to have its own Swift file so that you can program each one individually. Everybody got that? Okay, let's move on. I'm on step 27.5, towards the bottom. The scene within the storyboard file needs to be associated with one of these view controllers. Select the main storyboard file and select the scene added by Xcode so that it highlights with a blue border before displaying the Identity Inspector panel. View Utility Show Identity Inspector. Within the Inspector panel, change the class settings to UI View Controller and the Tab 1. So what does that mean? Okay, again, if you remember, we have a storyboard file that is over here, right? This is storyboard. This storyboard will make your controller, view your controller over here. And let me zoom out a little bit here, if I can. I can't zoom out. Why can't I? Oh, there we go. Click. There we go. Okay, here's my view controller. Again, how do I get the view controller? Is clicking here. And all I did was twirl this down so you can see. You should have a pop-up menu here if you don't see that. Okay. By double-clicking on the screen here, it should be zooming in and out. Remember that? You want to be zoomed in when you're changing things. You can zoom out to view things. You can zoom in to change things. Zoom out. Double-clicking zooms in and out. Zoom in and out. And do the keyboard commands work too, I think, right? The Command plus and Command minus, right? Command plus and Command minus also work. Remember, if you want to change something, you zoom in, Command plus. Okay, so we want to make an adjustment. So we're going to click inside, making sure it's blue. Making sure it's blue. So click inside your box. Anywhere down here is fine. Just make sure it's blue. Or up here, I guess. Up here is fine. Make sure it's blue. Then we're going to go to View, Utility, Show Identity Inspector. Well, basically it's already up, I think, right here. Show Identity Inspector. If you don't see the Identity Inspector, It's located over here. Now, when you're looking, and this is what I was explaining to you, you're not going to remember where these menus are. It's going to take time, just like in Photoshop. I don't remember where the masking tool is and blah, blah, blah. Again, so over here, you'll notice your little tabs at the top. The one that he's talking about is the one with the square. Again, if you can't remember that, hey, this is the one I need, the book goes over, hey, you can go underneath View, Navigators, Show, which one did it say? Show, Identity. No, View, Utilities, I'm sorry. Utilities. Show Identity Inspector. And here it is. It's over here. Okay? Let's move on. Over here where it says class, we want to change that to the change the class settings from UI View Controller to Tab 1. So again, we're going to Tab 1 View Controller. See it right there? Tab 1 View Controller. Right there. The second view controller may be added to the storyboard simply by dragging and dropping one of the object libraries, Show Object Views, Utility Show Object Library, onto the storyboard canvas. Once it has been added, the following name step change the view controller class within the Identity Inspector, this time selecting Tab 2 controller. So again, what they want you to do is, if you remember down here, is your object library, right? Down here. If you don't see that, you can go underneath View, Utilities, Show Object Library, and it's down here. Oh, and you might have to click off this when you're done with this. You might tab off that. Okay. I'm going to go down here. So again, down here is where your object library is, and we want to drag and drop one of the object library panel onto the storyboard. How did I do that in second view controller? So we want a second view controller. So here's your view controller right here, right? So you want a second one. I'm going to drag it out just like we did last time. So you want a second view controller. You can move it around. Again, remember, you can double click to zoom in and out. You move it around. Move it. I'm going to move it next to it for right now. Okay, so you want to put a second view controller out there. Again, if you can't find the view controller down there, you can type in the word view right here, right? V-I-E-W, right? View. And we're going to type in the view controller, drag it out. And after you drag that second view controller out, again, you choose the second tabbed 2 controller. Remember up here? Remember this? The tab 2 controller. So again, this one has view tab 1 view controller. This one has tab 2 view controller. So it takes a lot of operation, but now each one of the views that we have has its own Swift file. You would say to yourself, well, why doesn't it every time it makes a new view controller, it doesn't make a new Swift file for you? Wouldn't that be nice? Don't know. I don't have an answer to that. Okay, so let's repeat what we just did. We made a new project, right? And then we deleted the original Swift file that came with that new project. Then we made 2 new Swift files for each controller. We made 2 view controllers, or we had one already there, and we associated the first Swift file with that one. Then we made a new view controller, and we associated the second one with it. Everybody got that? Okay. Now we need to add the tabbed bar at the bottom. We need to add the tab bar and then a link to each of the pages. Adding the tab bar controller to the storyboard. As previously explained, the navigation between view controllers and the tab bar base interface is handled by a tab bar controller. It will be necessary, therefore, to add one of these to our storyboard. Begin by selecting the main storyboard file in the Xcode Project Navigator panel. So again, we're going to go back to the main storyboard. It's here, over here. Notice this one is collected, so I'm going to click off for right now. Okay. By storyboard, this will be necessary to add one of these by selecting the main storyboard within the Xcode Project Navigator panel. In order to add the tabbed control bar to the storyboard, select the first one, the tab 1 view controller in the storyboard design area, and select the editor embed in tab bar controller menu option. The tab bar controller will subsequently appear in the storyboard already connected to tab 1 view controller as shown in figure 27.1. Okay, so here's what we do. We go back to the first one. Okay, remember I have two of them. They're not connected yet. I have two of them. Go back to the first one. Inside the first one, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go under Editor, Embed in, Tabbed. So again, the editor is up here. So this was new to me. I haven't really used this too much. Okay, it's under Editor. It's a pull-down menu here. We're going to go to where it says Embed in, and we're going to say Tabbed Bar Controller. Okay. So again, make sure you have the first one selected, right? Number 1, the first storyboard selected. Go to where it says Editor, Embed in, Tab Bar Controller. Okay, you'll notice it puts a little bar down here, and there's already an icon. It already puts a default icon right here. So you should, under number 1, the first one, and notice it already makes a connection to number 2. Do you see that? Okay, so when you add another one, it makes a connection automatically. So when a person hits this, it's automatically going to go there. It's already made the connection. Okay? Did everybody find that? Yep. Okay, let's move on. Yeah?
But, I mean, when I did that, it showed another window that says item. It's not connected. So, is it supposed to be?
I will have 3 windows too. Maybe yours is automatically doing. I will have 3 too, so I'm not sure why. What? Yes? What's that? So what do you want to do? Add the toolbar to the controller. That's what we just did. Yes. That's okay. Okay. You guys got the little tab at the bottom? Very nice. Yeah. Okay. So boy, you got one already. Notice how there's an icon over on the second one automatically too. And notice how there's another one, a third one. Do you see that? I have 3 of them now. You're supposed to have 3 of them. Because this is a tab bar controller that goes to the first one. Then you're going to have a second one. So we have to make another icon down here is basically what you want. Because right now we only have one icon that goes to one screen. We need to make another icon that goes to the second screen. That's the second step. Okay, so here it's coming. Okay, here we go. A relationship now needs to be established between the tab 2 controller and the tab bar controller. To achieve, just simply control-click on the tab bar controller object in the storyboard canvas and drag to the tab 2 controller chain. Upon releasing the line, select the View Controllers menu option under the relationship segue as illustrated in 27.7. This will add a tab 2 controller to the View Controllers property of the tab controller object so that it will be included in the tab navigation. Woo! What does that mean? Okay, again, do you remember? And I'm going to zoom out a little bit if I can. Again, I have one bar, and I'm going to move this one up a little bit. I'm going to move this up. I'm going to move this one down below. Okay? So I moved one of them up and this one down below. Now if you remember how to make the connection, they say control click, but of course we have a right mouse click on these mice. When it says control click in the book, it's just like a right mouse click. It really is. So to make that connection between here and here, I'm going to zoom in now. Oops, I'm sorry, my window gets kind of crazy here. Again, I want to make a connection between this one and this one over here. To do that, I right-click. Oops, sorry, let me zoom out just a little bit so we can see. There we go. Okay, so now we need to make a second one. To do that, we're going to right-click and drag to this one and release the mouse. and then say under the segue, we want to do the, where was it? Right click. Relationship segue. Upon releasing the line, View Controllers menu option pops up. View Controllers right here. View Controllers menu option listed under Relationship segue. This will add the tab 2 controller. And now you should have a second tab. You should have 1 and 2 now. So that's how easy it is. If you were going to make an app that had 4 of them, you would just make 4 views, 4 different Swift files, and just drag them, and it'll make little icons here, and now I'll show you how to change those icons. And you have an app that goes from screen to screen to screen with a tab that goes along the bottom. You would do the same thing for as many tabs as you want. Remember, you can only fit like 4 or 5 down there. Okay, so the rest of the chapter talks about coloring these so that they have different information on it, so when you touch it, it goes. Then it talks about doing that. So we're just going to go through now. But this is the main concept here. Did you get all 3 of them going there? Did you guys get it all? Connection? No?
That's fine.
Huh? What's going on? You have to, you get a right click on there. Does it, you don't have a mouse? You should really use a mouse with this program. Or you can use the control key this way. Click on right click. That's left click. So we want to make a connection between this view controller. You should have an icon down here. I don't know why I don't see an icon down here. But you should be able to connect from here to here and then say view controllers. Yeah, but you still don't have an icon down here, so I'm not really sure. I would start over. You have a book. Let me finish and then we'll do. I don't know. I don't know. Okay, do you have icons? Yes? What's that? Okay, so we have 2 screens already. So the first screen, if you want to change it, zoom in, click on it, go to this little bar right here, the one that says, that points down, this is the attributes, and you should have a background color right here. So maybe your background color for your first screen is going to be other. Maybe you want other. What does other do? You got all these pre-made ones right here. Yeah, you want a black one, a white one. But hey, you can go to other. What does that do? Oh, it brings up the color option. I can make the background color any color I want. Ooh, how about that? That's a nice springtime color, right? How did I get the color? Again, I'm going to zoom in, zoom out for a moment. Click on one of your views. Click on one of your views. You got to zoom in to be able to take advantage of it. Double click on it, zooms in, go to this little pull down menu or this little option that says show attributes. Inside there should be one that says color. I don't know why mine's not showing color now. Why did I show color before? Oh, you got to click inside the window. Click in the window. Click in the window here. You should have a background color and so on. Next, if you want to put a label out there, remember you can type the word label down here. Label down there, and to put a label out, we can drag from here, put our label in the center. Try and put it in the center, label, because one of the things we're going to start doing in class, and if you went to chapter 24 and tried it, I know it's hard, you know, trying to position things. One of the easiest ways to position things I found is to put them right in the center, because you can designate the center alignment of an app, right? The center of the iPhone, the center of the iPad, the center of this, and center of that. So when you're putting things on, I know when we started putting things, we started putting things in the upper left corner, but hey, you're going to learn that the center is actually a good spot. Okay? So the first one is, this is my screen 1, right? Scene 1, whatever, view 1, whatever you want to call it. Scene 1, center. Again, you can change the font. If you haven't tried changing the font before, it's over here. You can change down here. You got your system setting here. It's a system font. And you can say different types of fonts. You can make them bigger. So try changing the font around right here. Again, just drag a label out there. Click on it. Go and try and change it. Hey, what color do I want my font to be? Hey, maybe we give it a color. There we go. Christmas time. Green and orange. There we go. Then there's different fonts options here. Try that. See what they are. I was doing bold before. Yeah, bold. There we go. Make some bold text. Try it. You want to put a picture out? You want to practice putting a picture out? We can put a picture on again. We can practice putting a picture on. Let's try it. So in my scene 1, I want to have a photo. So let's learn, if we remember last class, how to put a photo in. First, we got to get a photo. So let's go find a photo. I'm going to go steal one from the internet. Come on, we can be bold, be brave. Let's steal one from the internet. We go to Google. And let's steal a picture. Oh, flowers. Oh, we love flowers. And of course, images. Mother's Day. Oh, I guess we got a while before Mother's Day, right? How about? So I'm going to go steal a picture. And I'm going to put it in my folder. So go steal a picture, put it in your folder, and I'll show you how to import. I don't know where I was putting my apps. Does anybody know where I was putting my apps? Yeah, they're in here. Try and put it in the same folder. It'll save you a lot of time. Did anybody steal a photo? Okay, so there's going to be a lot of different ways that we bring pictures into the application. Okay, there's going to be an option that allows you to bring in an image that has different resolutions. Okay, we're going to do that a different day, but I'm just pointing it out now. That there's going to be an option that allows you to bring in a 1x, a 2x, and a 3x. And if you remember these guys in the interface design class last semester, we went over how to do the different size photos for the different things. So there's a way to do that. I'm not going to go over that right now. We're just bringing a plain picture in. But what I'm telling you is there's different ways to bring images in. When we bring the tab in, we're going to make our own icon. This is going to be different than when they're bringing this photo in. It's a different way. So there's a lot of different ways to bring images in. For now, I'm just going to bring it in as a plain image. So I'm going to quit the internet for now. So I want to put a picture out here in my scene 1. We might even call it scene 1 photos. How about that? I'm going to call it photos. There, scene 1 photos. There we go. Whatever you want to call it. Okay. To bring my photo in, it's going to come in as an asset. To bring it in as an asset, I go under File, New. Where was I? How did I bring that in? File. Oh, Add Files. I'm sorry. File, Add Files. Right here. Second option under File. And go and find your picture. Go find your picture. It was the second one under there. And it brings it in. Again, to bring your picture in, it was under File, Add. Right here. Add. Find your picture, bring it in. It becomes an asset over here. Now you can't really just drag it out onto the screen, okay? You can't really just drag it out on the screen. So what you can do though is down here, if you remember, you can bring in an image. I'm going to type in the word image down here in the thing, and you can bring in an image viewer. Image viewer. So down here, after you bring your picture in, go down here, type in image, take your image viewer and drag it out. I'm going to take my image viewer, drag it out. I'm going to put it in the center, if I can find center. There it is. Then once your image is out here, Once your image is out here, you can go over here where it says image in the upper corner, in the upper right corner. There should be an image option up here, and choose your photo. If it's squished, that's okay. You can say aspect ratio fit. There it is right here. Fit aspect ratio right here under view. Fit aspect ratio right here, and you can scale it bigger if you want. But this keeps it in the aspect ratio right here. Again, I brought my image in, I added it first, then I add my image viewer, then I go over here and choose it, then I say fit aspect ratio, which allows it to be in proportion, right? You don't want it to be all squishy, right? Squishy. Is that a word, squishy? I guess squishy is a word. We'll make it a word for today. Squishy. Okay, let's go to scene 2. So scene 1's done. Hey, it looks beautiful. Scroll down. You can just use scroll bar. Remember, it's underneath it. Here it is. Scene 2 down here. Boom. Let's change the background color. Let's practice changing the background color. White. Let's change it to something beautiful. Ooh, red. How about yellow? Maybe put a label out there if you want. And this is scene 2. We'll call it text. How about that? We'll put some text out there. Then I'm going to let's put out some text out there. So we got scene 2 with text out there. Let's put some text on there. So what if you wanted to have a box of text? A box of text. Okay. So they do have text. You can type in the word text down here, and you can get text field or text view. Okay. Text field displays editable text and sends an action message to a target object when the returned is tapped. So of course, if you want somebody to enter something, like a lot of apps, you say, hey, there's a box you want somebody to enter. You could use the text field, or if you want just a view text, like a box of text, use the text view. Displays multiple lines of editable text and sends an action message. So it's multiple lines. So we could probably use that one. Let me see if there's another one in there. Label, button, text field, slider, progressive, horizontal stack, collection, text view, scroll view provides a mechanical display, larger date picker, spin view, visual effects view with blur, visual effects view with blur and vibration, and then you got the tabs at the bottom. Search box, view represent a rectangular region in which it draws and receives events. Now let's just use the text view. How about the text view? I'm going to drag that out. Hopefully it won't crash. Uh-oh, I got the wheel of death. Whoosh. Be careful of the wheel of death. The wheel of death.
Death bad.
Yeah, maybe save your file before it crashes. Whoosh. Okay, so we could put some text in there, or we could just leave it plain text if you want. Let's leave it plain text. Okay, the last thing I want to do is make sure that it goes to screen 1 when the app is running. Let me see that. Make sure it goes to screen 1. Background label share red. Everyone should appear. Show and repeat this stuff. Don't know. I don't know. Let's test. How about that? I'm going to test. 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 Remember, it's the little play button in the upper corner here. Nope, it's trying. These computers are kind of old. Come on, you can do it. Did anybody's work? Or is it just mine? Uh-oh, something's happening. Still working? There we go. So automatically it goes to the first screen. Let me zoom out if I can. How do I zoom out here? The way to zoom out. Scale, zoom, scale. Still, let me zoom out a little bit. Boy, that's not very good, is it? Oh. You should have some options at the bottom that have tabs, and you should be able to jump between them. It's not showing an icon. My screen is not. Let me quit the simulator. Maybe I'll try it on a smaller screen. But did you get it to work? No? What didn't you get? Is it still trying to run your simulator? Is that what you're trying to say? It should jump back and forth. Now, it does have item 1 and item 2 at the bottom. Okay, do you see it? Now, if you let's go back to the view controller. Or actually, if you change it here, it'll change it there too. So let's go back to scene 1 and click on the item up here. Go back to scene 1 and click on the icon at the bottom where it says item 1. Do you see that? Okay, now if you don't want it to be called item and you want to use the standard ones that are built into the iOS, they're located over here. So click on it, see how it's blue? Come over here to the inspector over here in the upper corner. You'll notice, you see where it says system item up there? You got your favorites. Click on one, say favorites with the little star, features, top rated, recent, contacts, history, bookmarks, search, downloads, most recent, most viewed. Right? Those are the standard ones that come with the iOS. Did you see that? But again, you can make your own. So let's go make our own. Okay. Now when you change it here, it automatically changes in the menu bar. So you don't have to go, right? Because we have 3 screens right now. You have the one that's the view controller, and then you have the view 1 and view 2, right? You change it there, it automatically changes it there. You don't have to change it anywhere else. So just change it here. So let's make our own. Again, if you look at most of them, they're kind of black lines with white on the inside. Okay, basically they're clear. If you know a PNG, those of us who know a PNG, okay, a PNG has a transparent area, right? The alpha channel. Alpha, right? Alpha is a transparent area. So if I wanted to draw something, let's say I wanted to draw a checkbox, right? I could do a black line, and then this is all transparent outside, okay? That way, the reason why you want it transparent is so the bar can be colored a different way, and the color can come through inside. So, what do you want to make? A checkbox, or do you want to make, well, we have photos, right? What would a photo icon look like? Maybe a square with a circle inside. How about that? Is that a photo icon? You guys need to come up with icons. Again, the sample that comes with the book is 30 by 30 pixels, and it's a PNG file. So I'm going to follow the same settings. Let's use Photoshop. I'm going to follow the same settings that comes with the book. So I'm going to go into Photoshop. If you don't have Photoshop in your dock, where can I find Photoshop? Well, it's underneath the, you can click on the Happy Mac in the lower corner here and go to the Applications, Photoshop. I'm going to put it in my dock. Jean doesn't have it in the dock yet. She didn't show you any Photoshop yet. I'm going to open Photoshop. I'm going to make my own icon. Sure, you can use Illustrator. If you use Illustrator, make sure to change the artboard to 30 by 30 pixels. I noticed if I made something that was bigger than 30 by 30 pixels, it was bigger inside the menu bar. It was big. So I'm not sure why it has to be 30 by 30 pixels, but if I tried making one, it was larger than 30 by 30, and it was bigger inside the app. Inside the app, it went outside the bar, the menu bar at the bottom.
So it has the bottom as a image.
What's that? You can inside of Illustrator, you would make sure that you make your icon, then make sure the artboard is 30 by 30 pixels, and then you go under to make the PNG. It's under File Export. Under the export option inside of Illustrator is the PNG option. Okay, inside of Photoshop we go under File. Oops, we got the wheel of death here. Remember, I know it's too late, but next fall we got brand new building, brand new room, top of the line computers. Come back in the fall. Sucker building. We won't be in Fox anymore. So we go File, New, and I'm going to change it to pixels here, right? So again, File, New, get you this window, change the option to pixels, and type in 30 by 30, and I was assuming 72 dpi. I'm assuming, I don't know. You might be able to use higher resolution. I don't know. I'm going to do 30 by 30 at 72. So I'm in Photoshop. I type in 30 by 30, resolution 72. Make sure it's RGB color, 8-bit is fine. Background, I'm going to be transparent. Transparent. Remember the transparency option I was talking about on this board? Right? So 30 by 30 pixels, transparent. And now I don't, yes?
I'm not seeing those extra advanced options in my new box.
Down here?
Yeah, I'm not seeing for example, the background contents or the pixel aspect ratio. 30 or 36.
What's that?
30 or 36.
30.
30.
30. 30. 30. What version are you using? 2015? Yeah. I don't know. You in Photoshop? That looks. I don't know. Whatever. Just hit OK. Let's see what happens. How about that? That looks fine. It has a transparent checkerboard pattern. So, I don't know why mine looks different than yours. I don't know. I'm going to hit OK. Now, of course, it makes a little square somewhere, somehow, and gives you a VRAM problem. Don't worry about that. Zoom in by hitting Command plus. You should see your checkerboard pattern. And if you want to move it around, you can. I don't know. It locks it in there, and you can, I don't know. You're gonna have to learn Photoshop on your own, I guess. It's not easy. But you should have a little X or a little square somewhere, right? The checkerboard pattern just tells you it's transparent. So here we go. We're gonna make. How about we just do a square and then a circle in the middle? To make a square and the circle in the middle, I'm going to use the square option right here. There's this rectangle tool. It says rectangle tool. Do you see it? And make sure it's black. The fill is black. Black. Again, there's a rectangle tool. If you count down on the left side, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 down. On the right side, there should be one that says rectangle tool. I am making a rectangle that is black. Here's the option here, black. Here's the option there. I am going to draw a rectangle on my screen. Oh, it didn't fill. Oh, there's black. Okay, to put the circle in the middle, I'm going to draw a circle that is white. How about we draw white? Hopefully that works. I don't know if this is going to work or not, but let's draw white in the middle. Maybe we need to cut a hole through it. I don't know. I'm going to try drawing white in the middle. To draw a circle, there is a circle underneath the rectangle. If you put your left cursor down over top of the rectangle, there should be one that says ellipse tool. Ellipse tool. Again, the same rectangle tool, underneath there, hold your left mouse down, go to where it says ellipse tool, and I'm going to choose white as a color. Uh-oh, don't change the color while it's selected. That's what I did wrong. You might need to. Oh, I guess we could just draw a circle over top of it and it'll cut a hole in. Let me just try that once. Choose the circle, option, click and drag, and that cuts a hole. Yeah, that's what I want. You don't have to fill it in with white. Just use the circle tool and draw a circle in the center. If you want to draw from the center out, you'll hold the option key down. Here, I'll do it again. Again, I have my rectangle, looks beautiful, love my rectangle. I go to my circle, go to my ellipse tool. I don't care about the color, it's going to cut a hole in it. I'm going to put my cursor kind of in the middle of the rectangle. I'm going to hold down the option key on the keyboard, option key on the keyboard, and I click and drag. When I release the mouse, it should cut a hole in it. How about that? Did it work? Save it as a PNG. To save as a PNG, I go underneath File, Save As. Change the format to PNG. Give it a name. This is my camera icon. Camera icon. And I'm going to put it in my folder. I'm going to put it in my folder. You should keep everything together. So when you package your app, everything stays together. Don't compress it. I find I have problems if you try and compress the PNG. So if you get the compression option under the PNG option, say none, none. Okay, you ready? Let's try it. So here's how you bring it into the Xcode. Let me pause my video for just a minute before it's... Okay, so I'm going to quit Photoshop. I have my icon. I think that'll work. Hopefully that works. So in Xcode, we want to bring it in as an icon. So there's a different way. Remember how we brought the photo in? We just said add. Well, to bring an icon in is a different way. Okay? So here's how you do it. You come over here to the upper right corner over here. And you see where it says assets, assets right here? See where it says assets, assets right here? Assets, X, assets. Click on that. Left click on it, so it's blue. You're going to come over to this window and you're going to right click in here. Right click in this window. Right click in this white window. This is where you add the icons in here. And we're going to say import, I believe. Import app icon launcher. Import. Is it import? Is that what I want? Yeah, it's import. So again, it was this. So click here, right click in here, say import, and go and find your PNG, your camera icon, your PNG, and say open. It should show up in here, right? Again, clicking here, right clicking in here. Go back to your storyboard. Go back to your storyboard. Click on your icon again. Remember the icon here? This icon right here. And in the upper corner over here, we're going to change it to custom, where it says system icon. See where it says system icon? Or no, system item. I changed it to custom. And then when you go down to where it says bar item right here, bar item, where it says image, choose your image, your icon image, and it should show up there. And then you can give it a name also, and this is the photos of flowers. How about that? Photos of flowers. It's not the most beautiful icon, but you can see it. Again, it was in the upper corner there. I changed it to custom, system item, custom. Went to where it said image here, chose the icon, and then gave it a title. And if you wanted one for the other item, you would do the same thing for your second screen or third screen, and so on. So again, you've actually made something that goes from screen to screen, kind of like what we did last class, but this is a different way of doing it. It's a menu bar that's at the bottom, and you can customize it to do the operation of going from screen to screen to screen. Did you all make an icon? Yes? Okay. Did you make an icon? Let's test it one more time. I'm going to save and test. I'm going to test it in, not iPhone. Remember, you can change what it's tested in over here. I'm going to try, how about iPhone 5S? Remember, over here is where you can change how you test it. Let's test it again. I'm going to test it again. And the simulator should work. And did you notice the simulator works just like you would on your iPad? Did you ever try it? You can go to the whole Apple Store and everything. Okay, it might take a minute to load. Whoosh. Storms are coming. Storm's coming, Annie. Which Star Wars was that? Storm's coming, Annie.
The bad one.
The one with Jar Jar Binks, right? The first one, right? Remember the old ladies outside of and you know, young Anakin was there, and she says, "Storm's coming, Annie. Better get inside." So click on item 2 goes to the orange one. Flowers go to flowers. Back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. So a simple menu, tabbed menu. Again, though, you're remembering hopefully where the items are, where the options are, how to do these things. It's going to take time and practice. Time and practice. Okay, hold on a second.